In this video, I'd like to go over a few tips for sketches. I'll be covering relationships as well as center lines, or construction lines as I like to call them. Now you can see here I've got a sketch ready. I've got the perimeter already dimensioned and a set of circles here. What I'd ultimately like to have are these circles equally sized, equally spaced, and down the center of our sketch. And I want to do that in as few dimensions as possible. Now, one thing you can do is you can come in here and start dimensioning all your circles. And then start spacing those halfway on the side. But you can see here you can quickly start to fill up your screen with dimensions, and it gets messy and confusing. We can use relations and these center lines to clean this up and help us organize our sketch a little better. So let's get rid of these. Take a look at how to do that. First of all, if you grab all the center points of these circles, you can line those up vertically, just using the make vertical relationship. And then grab all the circles themselves and put another relation, an equal relation. And now those are all equally sized. So all you have to do is come in and dimension one, and you've got everything dimensioned. And what that will help you do is if you come back later and need to change that, you only have to change one dimension instead of have to changing all four. All right, now to center this along this side, we can now use center lines. You can grab the midpoint of a line, and now just put all your center lines down the middle here. Okay, now this top and bottom one, just make those vertical. Okay, and now that is centered on this sketch, centered on this side. And a good reason for doing this is you could come in and dimension this from the side, just make it half of this dimension. But if you have to come back later and change this dimension, using the center lines and using the midpoint, no matter what that dimension is, you're always going to be on the center of that. And so it just keeps you from having to make multiple changes. All right, now we can come in here and make all these equal. So those are all equally spaced. Let's just make that, say, 1.75. And now you can see it's still floating here. And so we can center that along this dimension by simply making these two equal. And now we've got fully defined circles, or fully defined sketch, excuse me. Now you could also come in and just put one circle in and come and do your linear sketch pattern. But a lot of times when you have just a few features, it's almost easier to go ahead and draw all those out. And using this method will help you clean up your sketch. So now you can see we have very few dimensions, yet we have a fully defined sketch. All right, and that's how you can use those effectively. Of course, there are many other ways to use relations in these center lines or these construction lines. And I won't be able to cover all those today, but this will at least get you started using those and get you familiar with them.